Hi, my name is Ben Palmer, and Sam Eversfield and I just completed the epic 50th Rolex Fastnet race double-handed. This is our story. Our story starts 20 years ago when Sam and I first met racing toppers at Island Barn Reservoir in southwest London. We also really have to have a big thank you to Adrian Diable, one of the most generous and kind people I know. He lent us his amazing yacht Surf, and I can't imagine his nerves as we were heading into that first storm out on the start on Saturday 22nd of July. Well, day one, the start, lots of nerves, excitement, apprehension. We knew we were in for a big night with that storm. As we headed out to the start line, we had the Coast Guard giving us gale force wind warnings on the radio, something I've never experienced before. The start was chaotic. We had 400 plus boats in the Solent, 100 plus boats on our start line. We managed to get out of there without incident, so big sigh of relief. Achievement 1 done. We started actually with a bit too much sail area, and we had to reduce that, so we're a bit slow and dropped up towards the back of the fleet at that moment. As we headed to Hurst Castle, we had the rain lashing in our face, the wind had built to 30 knots, and we had the tide going the opposite direction, so we had this maelstrom of water. It was really pretty chaotic, and we quickly decided that no, we're not going to go out the Needles Channel, we're going to do a hard right and get through a little narrow passage just next to Hurst Castle to get into the calmer waters that are Bournemouth Bay. To 40 knots, the wind instrument said, "Hey, I'm done, I'm gone," and blew off the top of the mast. The Coast Guard did a fantastic job. We had a yacht that sunk, a few dismastings, some injuries and they really responded to all these incidents really well. As we just left Anvil Point and headed into the big seas, we were forecasted 2.5 metre waves, but actually we saw way over 3 metre waves, must have been even more. It was pretty wavy and pretty heinous conditions, and I remember saying to Sam, look, it can't get much worse than this. 30 knots, massive seas, can't see a thing, stinging rain. And then he said, well, yeah, it could. It's now nighttime. At Portland Bill, we had two options. One, we can either take this narrow little inshore passage between a tidal race of confused water and the shore, or you can avoid the tidal race of confused water by going round the outside. We chose to go round the outside because we didn't feel confident. We hadn't really done enough sailing and going through that passage in calm weather, let alone in 30-40 knots and big seas. So we decided that we'd take the safe route, live to fight another day. Ultimately, we lost a lot of distance on the people who went the short route and went through that narrow passage. But hey, we're still in the race. The boat's in one piece, and we were in one piece. Day two. Day two dawned with the wind easing. There was nice sunshine out, an opportunity for us to take stock and get some food in and get some sleep. Down below, like a bomb had gone off. Everything was everywhere, even though we'd strapped everything down as best we could. We had these little fabric wardrobe where we put our clothes in, but these had collapsed into puddles of water, so all our spare gear was soaked for the rest of the trip. I can't remember how many buckets of water I bailed out from inside the boat. Even with the hatch closed, there was so much water coming over the deck that it got soaked down below. So time for tidy up, get some food in and get some sleep as we beat around the Devon coastline. Ultimately, we just missed the tidal gate at start point, so we were tacking very close to the shore. We had a lovely sail out to the Lizard, champagne sailing conditions, sunny, 15 knots, time to get some good sleeps in, recover after that heinous first night. As we approached the Lizard, the wind was dropping and we had a lovely evening sail getting around the Lizard. Ultimately, we had a big decision to do. Do we go west or east of the exclusion zone at Land's End? The wind kind of forced us to go east. Day three, we were tacking up east of the TSS next to Land's End, building breeze. So we dropped from the big jib to the small jib, put one reef in. Then the reefing line 1 snapped, so then we had to go to reef 2. Just got round the exclusion zone off Land's End and we're heading for the rock. Things are going well, the boat's going fast, we're overtaking boats at this point. And I was seeing other boats reducing sail area and I was thinking, are we pushing the boat a bit too much? And then Sam comes up from down below and he says, "Hey Ben, have you seen that?" I say, "See what?" And I look up and there's a rip forming around the reef 2 point on the mainsail. So we quickly drop the main, strap it to the boom in the 30 knots and the big waves, and then we're going on to jib alone. This is our second storm, really. It's better than the first storm because the sun was shining. Makes a big difference. We really felt that we had 3 options at this point. One, we could retire. We're just north of the Scillies, so we could dive down and retire into the Scillies for a beer. Second option is we keep going and we will either use the storm main or hoist the main to the full main and hope that there's less tension around that rip at that point. The final option, we try and make a repair in lighter winds. So as we're going on jib alone, I look at the weather forecast and see that we've got some lighter winds coming up. So basically decided let's keep going and we'll try and make a repair. So as the wind drops and the boat becomes a bit more unstable now without the mainsail, just on the jib, we get the mainsail off the boom, we get it down below, and using the last dry t-shirt, we dry the sail. And luckily I bought a lock of sail repair tape with me, so I was able to tape up the sail the best I could, using all the tape I had, hoist the mainsail up again and get going, and luckily the repair held. So got a well-deserved sleep after that. On that Monday afternoon, the wind had dropped to a nice 15 knots. We had the main working again, and things were going well. Got some good sleeps in Monday evening as we're heading up towards the rock. Ultimately, we probably made a little bit of a mistake being a bit further south. The boats to the further north did better us, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. So day four starts with us just off the rock in very, very little to no wind, but the sun is out, so great opportunity to get all those wet clothes that got soaked on day one out, dry them out. Ultimately, we were sailing in our underpants. And only put clothes on because we realised we're getting close to the rock and lots of media cameras around, so we thought better put some clothes on. As we got round the rock, little moment to reflect on 2 big storms and 3 days of upwind sailing to get here. Pedal to the metal, sail fast as we can straight to the Scilly Isles. We had a lovely sail that Tuesday evening into the Tuesday night. We had the reaching sail up and the boat was loving it and we were going really fast. Day 5. Day 5 starts with us reaching towards the Scillies, and we have this option either to go west or east of this exclusion zone around the Scilly Isles. We chose to go east because that meant we can keep our reaching sail up and ultimately actually put downwind sail up for a bit and then just have a short stretch where we had to go on the jib upwind mode before we bear away and head straight to Cherbourg. As we rounded Bishop's Rock off Scillies, we actually saw that we'd caught up loads of boats that we hadn't seen since Portland Bill on day 1 and that we're set for another storm, 3rd storm that evening. 30 knots, driving rain coming from the southwest. So we're able to put the big spinner up and get going straight for Cherbourg. And we were having a lovely time. Wind was up at 20 knots, slowly building that afternoon. And then, well, it was some of the best downwind sailing we've ever done. We were hitting 15, 18, 20, 22 knot surfs. It was incredible. Down below, it was like you're in this theme gown ride gone wrong. The boat was vibrating. So, like we get into the bunk and try and rest, not really sleep, but the boat is vibrating. There is so much noise of the water rushing past the boat. Sam described it as somebody taking an angle grinder to the boat. And so we were having a great time. Boat was in control, and then the wind went up a little bit more, and about 7 o'clock at night, it felt this is not so much in control anymore. So we dropped the spinnaker, and we went to our reaching sail in a downwind mode, and that worked really well. And our plan was to take that through the night, but then it was getting dark, the rain was lashing, we couldn't see a thing, and we thought, yeah, better be sensible here. So we dropped the reaching sail and went on jib through the night. We had to navigate through the shipping lanes where we couldn't really see anything. One of us is crouched by the chart plotter getting fire hosed, looking at the at where the ships are and calling out heading directions, but we were able to nip through the shipping lanes and then past the Channel Islands where there was wind against tide and another maelstrom of water, really dark, really wet, quite cold night that night. Didn't really get any sleep before, and then we just rounded the peninsula in the early hours of the morning and a quick reach into Cherbourg for the finish, and we finished at 6:30 Thursday morning. A real adventure of grit, perseverance, determination, and teamwork. I hope you enjoyed listening, watching to this story. Maybe it's inspired you to take on an adventure that's been in the back of your mind. Thanks for listening.